Well, good morning, Potter's House family. I'm here with another word from the Word for you. We're continuing John 17. We're down in verses 14 through 17 today. And here's what Jesus prays. He's praying to the Father, and he says this: I have given them your word, and the world has hated them because they are not of the world, just as I am not of the world. I do not ask that you take them out of the world, but that you keep them from the evil one. They are not of the world, just as I am not of the world. Sanctify them in the truth. Your word is truth. And so Jesus here is praying for his followers, and he's saying, hey, I've given them your word, God. And you know what? Since I'm not of the world, they're not of the world. They're not like everybody else. They don't see everything in the world the same way that other people in the world see the world. No longer are we as Christians ruled by sin. No longer is that something that has to control us. It's something that we can let in. It's something that we can fall back into. But it's not something that has to control us anymore because we've been set free from that. And when you've been set free from that, it changes your perspective. It changes the way you view things. It changes the way you act. Change things you do. And those people who haven't been changed probably won't appreciate that sometimes. They won't like that. And so he even says the world has hated them because they're not of the world, just as I'm not of the world. But we say, well, Jesus, why don't you just take us out of this world? Why don't you just take us with you? And he says, I do not ask that you take them out of the world, but that you keep them from the evil one. So Jesus' prayer for us is not that we be completely removed from the situation, but that we be protected in the situation. And that's a big difference. And so in your life, you might be facing some things where you're like, man, I just want out of this. But maybe your prayer needs to change from, Lord, take me out of this, to, Lord, protect me right here in this. Whatever your reasons are, whatever your purposes are in what I'm going through right now and where I am in the world and the things that I'm facing, Lord, protect me in this. Put a shield around me. Because that's the way that Jesus prays for us here. And it's ultimately to this end. It says this in 17. Sanctify them in the truth. Your word is true. See, he started this part with the fact that he's given us God's word. And then he wraps it around after he's covered all of this about how he's praying, that we'll be protected, that we're not of the world, etc., etc., etc. He bookends it with the role that word has in us, that it sanctifies us. Sanctify is a biblical term that means that it makes us more like him, that it makes us more perfect, that it strips away our sin, that it teaches us not to fall back into those things anymore. And it's this gradual process over time, but it happens through the power of his word. That's why I do these word from the words for you, is because his word has power. It has power in our lives, and that power is what it is that can shape us, can mold us, and can make us into who God is making us into being. And so when we ignore his word, when we don't open it, when we don't let it permeate our lives, then we're really ignoring the greatest source of strength that we have as a follower of Christ. And so I encourage you today to hold to his word. Let his word work in your life. Let it open up in your life and just illuminate things, show areas that need growth, show areas that need improvement, show all of these different things. But also show you great encouragement, great love, in the fact that the Father has you protected. And that's my prayer for each of us today, is that as we go through our day, as we interact with people, that God, not that God would take us out of the world, not that we would withdraw from other people, not that we would come into some kind of bubble and cocoon away from everyone else, but know that we would be there engaging, which is the verse we'll get to tomorrow, that we'll be engaging on mission with people, but as we do so, we'll be protected. That will be protected by the Father. Well, this has been your word from the Word for today. If you haven't signed up for for in-person service on Sunday and you're planning on coming, please don't forget to do so. And we will see you again tomorrow for another Word from the Word. Bye for now.